Witness News weekends.
Well,
we now join our regular scheduled program already in progress.
Wisconsin now picking up where everybody kind of thought they would. The way things are setting up right now, Indiana, Illinois, first round of the Big Ten tournament. If Indiana were to lose, you're talking about Indiana being a team moving down to like a 5 or 6 seed, a team that was battling for first place in the Big Ten just 10 days or so ago. How would you like to have to face that basketball team?
And you pointed out what is a 4-5 matchup for sure in the Big Ten tournament. Young, spins out. Jarush fighting. McDonald comes away with it.
UCLA getting some good looks at the three-point line. Young with a good follow-through, nothing there. Collins is matching up. And here's Mauricio with another hold. And now UCLA can ill afford, unlike Stanford, to get in trouble with either of their two big men.
That's the third on Moiso.
Now is Getsura going to come back in there to give him a blow?
Now they're going to bring in Barnes.
That makes him awful small. We have Barnes and Rush right now going up against the two Collinses. That will not be easy for UCLA.
2 shots for Jason Collins. Just a freshman. Redshirt year and a medical redshirt. Played only 8 games in 2 years, 104 minutes, and he got his years back. So he's 2 classes eligibility-wise behind his brother.
But 8 minutes at birth and 2 classes by the time they got to be freshmen and sophomores in college.
Knocks them both down.
You know, he had that serious knee injury, and then, unfortunately, against George Washington last year, came down and really had a serious injury to the wrist.
Rush from the corner. Nobody but Stanford players underneath.
One of the few times today that UCLA has taken an ill-advised shot. Now let's see if the power of the two Collinses right now can get into play.
McDonald with a surprising shot from three-point land. Cleared away by the Bruins. Barnes.
Nice blocking out.
Lob the rush, and Watson had it right over the rim for him.
Now you know what makes that so tough, Jim? Rush has not been playing with that first team all year. Basically, he hasn't had any opportunity to play with it, so incredible pass by Watson. But Stanford ought to go down inside right now. They've got a big size advantage.
Jacobson, beautiful step to the basket.
More than just a shooter.
Capano, though, shows us something at the other end.
A half hook on the move.
How about that?
2 of the great scores in California high school history. Jacobson now the number 2 all-time scorer in the history of California basketball. Darnell Robinson that went to Arkansas and unfortunately couldn't put in another year there where I think he could have been an outstanding player, is the number 1 all-timer.
Jacobson, and
that's Barnes on the reach-in.
Barnes indeed.
Jim, let's talk about this shot. Watson to Rush. Now, he knows athletically what Rush can do, but that is a timing play. And to consider that these kids have not had an opportunity to spend many minutes on the floor together, that's kind of amazing. Give Rush a lot of credit. All that's gone against him. He came out in this game. The fans were on him from the minute that he walked onto the floor with throwing dollar bills at him and everything else. He's kept his mind on the game, just playing hard, doing a good job.
So Jacobson, averaging 14 a game, comes up short on the first one. You said it, Billy, 2nd all-time prep scorer in the state. And that was the great trivia question. Darnell Robinson, boy, how he could have afforded another year.
Oh, at Arkansas.
He left early, and there was
never heard of him again.
No interest.
Yep.
Total misjudgment.
You know, the other thing that's interesting, too, when you think about great shooters that have played in the Pac-10, the thing that comes to my mind is Tracy Murray. And, of course, that's where Casey went to high school and beat Tracy Murray's all-time shooting records, scoring records.
10 points for Jacobson. He leads all scores. Stanford leads it by 3.
Good evening, folks.
Hold the door, hold the door. Hey, Paul, hold that elevator. Hold it. One more. Whoa. Hey, open the door. Somebody get that, please. People, somebody press the button. Frank, come on, I can see you in there. Please open the door. Hey, Come on, we're reasonable people here. Hey, look. Oh, that's my Bud Light.
Hit it, Frank.
Whoa.
With a great taste that won't fill you up and never lets you down.
I can't shake them.
Is this going on?
Make it a Bud Light.
What do you want the internet to be?
Come together.
Nortel Networks.
Now there's a Chevy Venture with flip and fold seats and a built-in entertainment system.
I knew I should have taken a left turn at Albuquerque.
Introducing the new Warner Brothers edition from Chevy Venture, the most versatile minivan ever. One quick call can help you learn more.
Get $1,500 cash back on any Chevy Venture model, including the popular Venture LS. See your Chevy dealer today.
A pair a day will keep the upset away. Hey, trust me, I got plenty of them.
I want it to be larger than life.
What do you want the internet to be?
Come together.
Nortel Networks.
We're back at Maples Pavilion, and there's someone you're very familiar with, Billy. All of college basketball is in the building here. Bill Frieder, former coach at Michigan, later Arizona State. He coached in the first game, the CBS broadcast, when it got to college basketball. You and Bob Fishman were there back in 1981.
There's a trivia question. At Arkansas, Eddie Sutton was the coach. Bill had all kinds of adversity in that first season. Players injured, but he was there, and of course, we could have been involved with Bill Frieder in a great run to the Final Four, but he never got a chance to be there in '89 when Michigan won the national championship. Basically, his team coached by Steve Fisher.
Knight with a three to tie it at 36.
Hey, they are putting on a three-point show. Again, let me come back to that stat. In the first game, 0 for 14 from three.
7 for 14 today. Ball was kicked. They're going to reset it. Coming up on Pennzoil at the half. Greg Gumbel and Clark Kellogg get you caught up on all the scores and highlights, plus a visit with St. John's head coach Mike Jarvis, who has the Red Storm on an 8-game winning streak. What's coming up? Pennzoil at the half with Greg and Clark.
One of the real neat teams to watch play college basketball is St. John's. Everybody can handle, everybody can shoot, everybody can rebound, everybody can run, and they play together.
Rico Hines on the reach in. And that's the foul on Rico.
Hines, who had an opportunity to return back home to North Carolina in that big win that had his relatives in attendance. Boy, everything going a little sour for Stanford. You know, Jimmy, you think back, maybe running off to that early lead.
19-4.
Right, with particularly the way they have been blowing people out. One of the things you always worry about, and I go back to 1991, UNLV, never in a close game till they got to the Final Four. All of a sudden, you get in one and things change.
Plus UCLA with the resolve from coming back on Thursday. 19 down to beat Cal on the road. So,
boy, Collins is something inside. Great pass.
Collins gets the soft touch. Jaron Collins.
How about that by McDonald? The incredible dish inside. UCLA fell asleep. Not supposed to be able to thread it from 35 feet.
Back to a three-point lead for the Cardinal. How did that drop?
No trajectory on that shot whatsoever, Jim. Just snuck over the rim. Some play, but Barnes had his mind set as what he was going to do, going against the bigger man, and look at that. He kind of shot it on the way up with the half hook, and that's how he got it off. You see it right here. Look at that flat shot. Very seldom will you get a touch on something like that.
And Barnes has a chance to tie the game.
Collins cannot believe that ball went in. Mendez now in the ball game. So Jacobson and Mendez on that wing position for shooting.
2:10 left in the half. Stanford by 1.
And UCLA really getting by without either of their two big men in the ball game. Nice look by Collins.
Traveling against Collins. And the Bruins have a chance to take the lead for the first time. Tonight on CBS, when the bad guys bring out the heavy stuff, Samo's got the upper hand. Nobody does it like Samo. Martial law tonight on CBS.
Very important possession here for UCLA. They've been so patient in their half-court sets. Capano wanted to take Jacobson down inside.
Capano and in and out. Boy, that dipped down for just a hair. Mendez, no traveling. Lavin was signaling for it. Jacobson, freshman on freshman, leans in and called on Rush, who was on the floor. That's going to be his third.
What I love about Jacobson, and we talk about guys that are both shooters and scorers, and he is both. He realized that they're going to play him for the jump shot today. He's been putting the ball on the floor. Great crossover off the pass, and that gets him open for those seam dribbles. He had a game against Oregon State this year and talked about when a guy's a scorer and not just a shooter. He missed 7 of 8 shots and still had 13 points in the game. He just makes himself tough to guard. He's had 2 brothers that have played Division I college basketball. His dad was also a college basketball player at the University of San Diego State. He's had a lot of success teaching his young kids how to play the game.
Under a minute and a half to go. Jacobson ups the lead to 3. Capano wanting to challenge Jacobson.
That's an offensive foul.
They say it's off Capano. No foul. Turnover.
I thought the foul was there. Now Capano has to be, he's taken on this head-to-head challenge with Jacobson a little bit too much. He's got to just be patient out there. Jacobson's done a better job controlling his emotions.
Junior guard Michael McDonald directing the offense. Ryan Mendez loves that spot. Too strong.
Ooh, Collins had to dip to his brother. There it is.
Jaron to Jason, and a foul. They're tangled inside.
Boy, that was a good look by one Collins to the other. These two guys are really something special, and they're going to keep getting better and better. When you start thinking of how good this Stanford team is right now, Jim, and considering what will be here in the future, this program is not one that's just a team. This is now a program.
Well, if you would have been, say 20 years ago, able to look in the future and say that one day you'd be doing a game at Maples Pavilion, one team would be unranked, the other team would be a unanimous #1 ranked team in the country, I think you might have had it the other way around.
Oh, absolutely. Well, in 1976, UCLA beat Stanford 120-74. It's the worst defeat ever for a Stanford team. Of course, Stanford did return the favor in 97. They beat UCLA 109-61, a 48-point win, which is UCLA's worst defeat ever.
Mosley has come back in. Recently, it's been Stanford with the upper hand, having won 5 in a row against the Bruins. Looking for 6, which would be the longest consecutive win streak by one program over the Bruins since the Cal teams 1958 to 1960 under Pete Newell.
Nice reverse.
Barnes again to the hole, not this time. Mendez falling, gets it away to a teammate, McDonald.
I think Barnes with his quickness would have been better off trying to get fouled there instead of using that left hand.
Mendez drives in. He got fouled. No call. Mendez inside. Tipped around.
Oh,
no basket taken away.
Boy, Collins is putting on a show, though. Mendez got fouled on the drive. There's Collins with his big physical presence inside. No question, that ball still in the cylinder when he went after it.
So under 30 seconds to go. Shot clock is off.
Collins came in his first start when Madsen got hurt in that Duke game, had 18 points and 12 rebounds in Madison Square Garden to give Stanford the championship. His brother that tournament was the MVP, but he's showing his presence in there today.
Capano with 7. Over to Watson. Takes McDonald inside. Pinned. to the corner. Knight launches. Oh, we got a 2-point game at the half. Billy Knight with a high arcing three.
And Steve Lavin says as his players run by, good job, and he can really echo that a few times. This is some play by Watson finding the open man, and UCLA has been very, very solid from the three-point line, which is something unusual against Stanford.
50% in that half, Billy. 8 out of 16. And that's the end of the first half with the score. Stanford 43, UCLA 41. Greg Gumbel and Clark Kellogg will be along with Pennzoil at the half right after this message.
I've always wanted to do this. He's not going to like that one. Look at this shot. No. Here's the shot. Let's zoom in on that one.
Top Flight XL 2000 exceptional spin. Titanium in the cover for explosive distance. Tungsten in the core for amazing soft feel. And Z Balata for extra spin. When it hits the green, it stops.
That's a gimme putt for the guy playing the XL 2000.
Top Flight XL 2000. Gets you there, keeps you there.
Shake at the stretcher.
No. We need Coach Wooden.
Family values.
Something stronger.
Spiritual renewal.
Not now.
The desire to win.
Perfect.
The courageous struggle for a noble cause should be considered success in itself.
Powerful stuff.
Hi, everyone. I'm Greg Gumbel. Coming up on Pennzoil at the half, Clark and I with scores and highlights and a conversation with Mike Jarvis, head coach of St. John's, after this message and a word from your local station.
Play the Pennzoil at the half challenge.
Who wants the Pennzoil?
Just call our 1-800 number and answer 3 basketball trivia questions to win Final Four prizes. You can also enter to win a VIP trip to the Final Four just for calling. Stop by AutoZone for a bottle of Pennzoil. You'll need a stock number.
We need the phone.
And a phone.
There's the phone.
The Pennzoil at the half challenge. Visit AutoZone for more details.
College basketball fans. For scores, news, and stats, when you've got to know more, log on to cbs.sportsline.com or in America Online into CBS Sportsline.
The address is CBS.
Business powers Connecticut's economy. But who powers Connecticut's businesses? Connecticut Light and Power. We also deliver ideas that can make your business more efficient, like rebates, incentive programs, and energy audits. How do we know so much about Connecticut business? Because we've been one for almost a century. Part of the Northeast Utilities System, Connecticut Light and Power, the energy of Connecticut.
When you're smiling, the whole world smiles with you. When you're laughing, when you're laughing, the sun comes shining through.
Everybody likes to have fun. We like to help.
Keep on smiling, and the whole world smiles with you.
Connecticut Lottery. Is this fun or what?
Two-door Explorer Sport, $279 a month. Four-door Explorer, $299 a month.
Doppler 3000, only on Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
CBS Sports presents Pennzoil at the half. Sponsored by Pennzoil. Specially formulated for today's stop-and-go driving. Stop, go, Pennzoil.
Hi, once again, everyone. Welcome to Pennzoil at the half with the score at halftime. Stanford 43, UCLA 41. I'm Greg Gumbel, along with Clark Kellogg. You know, right at the beginning of this game, who would have thought that this would be a two-point game at halftime?
You didn't, because I told you UCLA had a chance. I'll let the viewers know that. But nonetheless, UCLA has stayed in the game with three-point shooting. They've battled Stanford close to even on the boards. The interesting thing in the second half, Greg, which team's style will prevail? Stanford wants to play inside and smash mouth. UCLA has to play more of a quick-hitting game in the second half.
You're meat now. I'm digging up everything. Elsewhere around the country, let's start with North Carolina at number 4 Duke, where the Blue Devils, with just under 12 minutes to play, lead at 62-43. Number 5 Ohio State at Minnesota, a 10-point winner over the Golden Gophers today. Buckeyes running the break perfectly, leave it for trailing George Reese, who puts it away, and then Scooney Penn began the show.
Scooney Penn to the hoop, got the foul and the bucket, and in transition, that's Doylan Robinson to Brian Brown. Nice give and go there for the Buckeyes.
And Scooney Penn, boy, he was all over the place. The steal goes the distance for the lay-in. Ohio State claims a share of the Big Ten title, 82-72 over Minnesota. Also in the Big Ten, look at what Michigan State did to the Wolverines, 114-63. Mateen Cleaves, nice feed to Andre Hudson, scores on the reverse layup, gave the Spartans a big advantage early on. What a day for Mateen.
He dished 20 dimes, but he also had time to knock down a triple there. Michigan State, 56-24.
Spartans kept on rolling. Cleaves, Jason Richardson, alley-oop, got him closer to Magic Johnson's career assist record, and the onslaught continues.
Charlie Bell with the steal and throwdown. A 48-point lead at that point. Michigan State wins big.
Cleaves, 769 career assists, a Big Ten record. Temple, 98-67 over George Washington. Story of this game, though, is John Chaney sat center Kevin Lyde down after a Washington Post story had Lyde accepting money from an AAU coach to pay for a high school course during the summer, and he ripped the timing of that report. More on that a bit later. Kentucky over Florida today, 85-70. It was senior day in Lexington. Jamal McGlure celebrating his final day at Rupp Arena, and the Wildcats came out gunning.
They made 9 of 21 threes, one of their best days from behind the arc. That's Desmond Allison with one of them there.
How about the day Tayshaun Prince had?
Another 3, beautiful wraparound dribble to spring himself and knock down the three-pointer.
In fact, Kentucky was all over the Gators with threes. Keith Bogans contributes one from the corner. Kentucky wins it, and the Wildcats win a share of the SEC title, 85-70. In the Big East, what a big day for the Huskies of UConn. 69-54 winners over the Orangemen. Jim Calhoun said his team needed this one. He must have gotten the story to Khalid El-Amin, who finds Kevin Freeman. And Amin just had himself a great day.
He sure did. Here he is doing a nice job with the big 3.
After the game, Amin talked about the season without Richard Hamilton.
It's much easier now. I mean, we've been 29 games into the season. I have to look for Albert Moore, I have to look for Kevin Freeman and my other teammates. So even though those guys gone, we still have a great group of guys that can finish and that can put the ball in the hole. So it just makes my job that much harder, but I'm ready to step up and just execute and do the things we need to do to win.
El-Amin with 19. Kevin Freeman added 18. Connecticut rolled 69-54. In the SEC, the Volunteers leading Georgia at halftime, 50-38. Number 16, LSU, a 4-point winner over Ole Miss. The Tigers grab a share of the SEC championship. UNC, Asheville, and Winthrop, 59-47 with less than 6.5 to play. Clark Kellogg's fan club on hand. Robbie Waldrop of Winthrop, 4 out of 4, hitting one of his three-pointers in the first half, and then underway in the second half.
Andre Smith, good position with the feet, allows him to reach in with the hands, and he's off for the 2-hand flush. They led 44-32 at that point.
UNC Asheville looking for its first NCAA tournament bid in any sport, but it trails Winthrop right now 59-47. And in the TAC tournament final, Central Florida falls to Samford. The Bulldogs, the first team into the NCAA tournament, 78-69. Take a look at this week's top 10 teams presented by Agilent Technologies. Tennessee is number 10. The Orangemen of Syracuse, 9. Florida, Temple, Michigan State are 8, 7, and 6. Our top 5, Ohio State, Duke, Arizona, Cincinnati, and Stanford is number 1. You can cast your vote for next week's Top 25 fan poll at cbs.sportsline.com, or America Online users enter the keyword CBS Sportsline. Now, St. John's has won 8 in a row, including victories over UConn and Duke, making the Red Storm the first team ever to defeat the defending national champion and championship runner-up in the span of a week. The team's recent success has been achieved despite the controversy surrounding their star point guard, Eric Barkley. Earlier this season, the NCAA suspended Barkley for swapping vehicles with the brother of his former AAU coach. This past Tuesday, he was suspended for receiving $3,500 in financial assistance from the prep school he attended, but he was reinstated yesterday on condition he repay the money. He'll be in action for the Red Storm against Miami tomorrow. A short while ago, we spoke with St. John's head coach Mike Jarvis and asked him what it meant to have Barkley on the court.
Well, it means everything. First of all, we average about 75 points a game with them. We average about 60 points a game without them. You know, he's the guy that runs this team both offensively and defensively. And he's just such an invaluable person and player that, you know, it's very difficult to think what it'll be like without him.
Coach, the cloud of the NCAA investigation continues to hover over your program. In your opinion, has Eric Barkley done anything wrong?
No, not a thing. And he hasn't done anything legally, ethically, or morally wrong, no.
Coach, when you say that Eric Barkley did nothing wrong, you're talking about strict interpretation of NCAA rules or morally and ethically? You figure he did absolutely no wrong whatsoever?
Well, once again, you know, none that I can see. And, you know, rules, there are rules that are on the books that were written a long time ago. They need to be revisited. There's also the word interpretation. And you know, our school and the lawyers and everybody else, the way we interpret them is quite differently than the way that they are being interpreted right now and across the country. And as we've seen over the last couple of weeks since the Super Bowl ended, very, very differently from the way in which we think they were written and meant to be handled.
So do you think now that Eric Barkley is free and clear for the rest of the season?
Listen, I wish I knew, and all I know is this: we've got to just take it one day at a time. We thought that we were done with this a long time ago. We weren't. So who knows? You know, we're just gonna, you know, pray that we wake up tomorrow morning, and we'll take it one day at a time.
Well, let's look ahead, if you will, Coach, and talk about your team's prospects for the NCAA tournament. How you see where you guys may end up being seated and how much success you think you can have.
I said from the very beginning of the year that, you know, I would not want to play St. John's if I was another team in the NCAA tournament. I think that even though we have difficulty many times matching up, we're always a tough matchup for other people. If we can stay healthy, then who knows what this team might be able to accomplish.
Clark, Mike Jarvis is looking for some changes in NCAA rules and regs. We heard from Steve Lavin of UCLA earlier. We know about John Chaney. Granted, all three of these coaches have been burned because of a player losing time, but there seems to be this rising swell.
You know, the NCAA is certainly in a difficult spot. They have to penalize rules violations when they're discovered, but part of the difficulty has been self-induced in that the rules are antiquated. Clearly, there needs to be modification. Maybe there needs to be a look at maybe a governing body simply to oversee all of basketball's issues.
All right, Clark, incidentally, St. John's, you can see them at noon tomorrow against Miami here on CBS. And so far, at least Eric Barkley is still eligible. Thanks for watching Pennzoil at the Half, everyone. Jim and Billy are back with the second half of UCLA Stanford right after this.
Pennzoil at the Half has been sponsored by Pennzoil, specially formulated for today's stop-and-go driving. Stop, go, Pennzoil.
Mom, Dad, if I'm paying rent, I gotta have a better breakfast than this.
Mark.
I know there's some dietary restrictions at the table, but no way.
What would you like, Mark?
Potatoes, sausage, eggs.
Would you like them to serve that to you in a nice warm skillet?
That would be great.
What does this look like? A Holiday Inn?
Want a better breakfast? Try our award-winning Best for Breakfast menu at today's Holiday Inn.
Please welcome today's guest, Drew Carey.
Well, today I'm going to show everyone how to install DirecTV.
Great.
First, you take your drill, your wrench, your stud finder. This will come in handy, just in case.
Fantastic.
And chuck it out the window. Because now, not only do you get more movies and sports and stuff and digital quality picture and sound, but installation's free too. DirecTV, now with local channels. My work is done here.
I once dreamt there was a place where I could be whatever I wanted to be. I could dance, write, and play. I can help save lives. I can help people understand. I can even make things no one has ever seen. I once dreamt there was a place.
UCLA, where great futures begin.
All right, welcome back to Maples Pavilion. Billy, we're getting close to the brackets announcement next week.
Jim, you are the bracket master, retired as the USA champion.
Here's how we see it right now.
Here's how you see it, Jim.
Okay, Duke, Arizona. They're going to travel. Oklahoma State, Indiana. In the South, Cincinnati the 1, Michigan State, that's pretty strong. It's a 2, Florida, Iowa State. Ohio State a 1. Syracuse, Tennessee, and Texas. Check out the bracket out west. Stanford with Temple, Kentucky, St. John's. Wow. And of course, it'll all be revealed next Sunday exclusively here on CBS. And our coverage of the NCAA men's basketball will continue after this message on a word from your local station.
To see inside the human heart, a doctor once needed a scalpel. But with ultrasound systems from Agilent Technologies, doctors can now spot problems that once went undetected. And sometimes even fix them without surgery. To see inside the human heart is to sometimes see relief.
Oh, not again.
You see things too.
Sometimes. When Gary meets another clairvoyant, what happens when she predicts her own future?
Stop the bus!
Only early edition of CBS Tonight.
For action as big as Texas, the address is CBS.
The Ice Divas. Coming live to the Hartford Civic Center. Champions on Ice. The leading ladies of figure skating appearing live. Simply the best. Michelle Kwan, Oksana Bayou, Dorothy Hamill, Nicole Lopez. Simply the best. The John Hancock Summer Tour of Champions on Ice. Coming live to the Hartford Civic Center. Tickets on sale now. Don't miss it.
With fuel prices what they are, just to be able to hold my prices is sensational. Case in point, this Scooby-Doo sofa. It looks great, sits great, and has not one, but 2 recliners. But it can't walk here from Mississippi. It has to come here by truck. And trucks burn fuel. Need I say more? That means at $4.99, it's even more untouchable. At My Bob's Discount Furniture, it's all about saving money.
Super Tuesday coverage begins Tuesday on Eyewitness News starting at 5.
What a tradition they built here. The 6th man at Stanford. The students slept out last night. As
Like
of
the
8
Cameron
o'clock last
Cajuns.
night. Absolutely.
Nice reach inside by Mosley. Took away the balance that Barnes had.
Steve Lavin's team was down 19-4 if you're just joining us. Came back to tie the game on a number of occasions. Never took the lead.
Jim, no team has shot 50% all year on Stanford. UCLA shot 50% from the three-point line in that first half. 8 of 16 from 3.
Oh, and a traveling violation.
You can notice Matson with what appear to be a number of stitches on his chin.
What else strikes you at the half with the stats, Billy?
Well, Stanford got on the foul line 19 times. UCLA only 5. Rebounding about even. And a key for UCLA, only 7 turnovers in that first half. Matson doesn't have stitches, just a Band-Aid under that chin. Had to sit down with the blood that came from the cut.
Got Zurich with 7 on the shot clock. Strong move to tie the game.
How about McDonald not coming in? Figured Collins could handle it, but Zurich showing that quickness inside. Zurich with 2 fouls. This is a key. They also with 3 fouls.
Mosley, Bailey goes flying through. Banks it too strong. Capona with the rebound. Bruins looking for the first lead of the day.
Mosley won't miss many of those, Jim. Point blank range, about 12 feet. I think he was undecided whether to use the glass or to go straight at it.
From the corner, three-pointer, and UCLA leads for the first time.
McDonald's fault. Watson, he thought, was going to come back out high, and instead Watson went to the corner. McDonald couldn't find...
Jacobson to tie it.
Oh.
Yes.
Jim, he's about 6 steps beyond the three-point line. His range is unlimited, and he has a lot of confidence. Rush coming back in the ball game here early.
Watson flying through for 2. Earl Watson with 13 points, including the last 5 for the Bruins.
And they've taken advantage of McDonald, a young man who was supposed to be tutored under Lee last year, but because of the injury, wasn't able to get the time.
Fighting through the pick. Going to be called on Bailey. How'd you like the move by Zurich?
Oh, this is a great move. He puts it down inside, gets his balance. No help from the weak side at all. You can see McDonald was standing there. Collins just nothing he could do because the rim was in the way for any block attempt.
Zurich had only 3 points and 2 rebounds in the earlier matchup with Stanford this year. Jacobson and 1.
Boy, he can take it to the hole. We saw the unlimited range on his jump shot the last time down floor, and here he takes it to the hole with a hard drive, doesn't mind putting his shoulder in there, extends the arm, and that is why this guy is leading this team in scoring. Moved into the starting lineup when Mendez could not get back from a funeral that he was attending for his grandmother. Jacobson's been in the starting lineup and stayed there ever since.
Zurich with his 3rd foul. Stanford regains the lead.
Bailey's job is to continue this patience for UCLA, making sure his team gets some good looks.
Nifty pass, but nothing there for Watson.
He was lucky Watson was the catcher on that one, Jim, because that was a hard one to handle.
Zurich way too strong, but Rush is there, and 1.
Now that shows you what kind of ability Rush has, because Matson was blocking him out. Rush was right on his back and still able to make the play. Watch this right here. Zurich will put it up. Rush looks the block out on him, and he goes right over Matson and gets it. Terrific play by Rush.
It's the 3rd foul on Mad Dog Matson. 3-point play.
And there is UCLA's best free throw shooter, although this is just his 4th game.
You can look back at that 19-4 start, and that was about the time Rush came in for UCLA. So clearly a huge boost in his first game back after 24 games out.
Well, Steve Lavin took a lot of time to call that first timeout, Jim, and trying to wait for the TV timeout. But his team was in serious trouble for a long while. Great rebound by Zurich.
Zurich snares it away from Collins.
Oh, a palm. You don't see that call much in the open floor.
You look at strength of schedule right now, Billy. Stanford is 7th. Cincinnati ranked number 1.
Well, Kentucky didn't hurt themselves today with that big win against Florida, so they should be right back up there. Duke, of course, with a big win that they've had today.
But in the rankings, in the AP, in fact, Stanford unanimous. All 70 first-place votes. The first unanimous number 1 ranked team since North Carolina was during the 1997 season for a week.
That puts Jim in the Pac-10 history. 4 teams have been in the number 1 spot in Pac-10 history. Of course, UCLA, Stanford, Arizona, and Oregon State. Boy, that's a big foul on Rush. Steve Lavin needs minutes out of him the rest of this way.
Muiso in there with 3, replacing Rush.
Now, if you are Stanford, and they do play a motion type offense, I think you want to get the ball to Matson on this exchange. Muiso with 3 fouls, giving away a lot of strength inside. They ought to go to Matson. There it is. Instead, he sets the screens.
Jacobson outside, McDonald open. 3-pointer rattles in for the lead.
Good look by Jacobson. Team's got a lot of weapons, don't they, Jim?
Just loaded. We got an exchange of words and a technical called on Young of UCLA.
Boy, this could really hurt. It's 52-51. You get 2 free throws here and the ball out of bounds. We saw that critical technical foul on the Notre Dame student body. That really hurt the Notre Dame team. A team that was bubble bound.
Watch the left side here, Billy.
Well, we see the play. Young gets hit first. Mosley pushed him first, but Young's got no business in a game like this going back and retaliate. How often do you see?
Well, first off, there's an intentional foul called on Mosley.
2 team fouls. Technical foul also called against UCLA.
And technical on Young.
Boy, that would have been a big break for UCLA if Young had just held his ground right there, because he'd have gone for the line for the intentional and got 2 and the ball. Now, it's got to be Young on the line, right?
Yeah, he was the one fouled.
Yeah,
no
he was
doubt.
fouled intentionally. Now, in the technical, of course, you can make your choice as to who shoots.
So Young will shoot the 2 intentional. Then they'll go to the other end for the technicals, and Stanford will have the ball.
And see, because it was intentional, Jim, UCLA would have got the ball back.
Would have shot the 2 free throws and possession.
And I'm not so sure they'll be shooting technicals here.
Well, they called a technical on Young.
It was a dead ball, though. There you have Young shooting his.
Mosley's going to the other end.
And it will be. Mosley, an outstanding free throw shooter, so a chance just to swap him here. I think then... Here, now, these are the technicals. On Young. Will also be charged of personal against him.
So Mosley for 2.
Maybe no exchange here whatsoever. It was a 1-point game before all of this, and may turn out to still be a 1-point game.
Fine young man from Las Cruces, New Mexico, will graduate in June with an economics degree, and his mother Nellie is here for only the 2nd time to see him play in his career. His final home game. She was here for the senior day presentation before it all started. He's hoping that they're going to go into the West bracket because the West regionals are up the road at Albuquerque. Stanford behind the Mosley free throws, back in front by 1.
My dad was a coach at Georgia School for the Deaf. I grew up in an environment where deaf kids kind of adopted me in their culture.
Thank all of you for coming to the camp today.
When I first went to Merrill Lynch, I was very impressed with Steve Malone. He was very easy to talk to, and he listened well.
So it's important for all of us to listen well and to cooperate. Every day you're building your future.
When Paul Daigle was shopping mid-size cars, he started with the usual suspects, Camry, Accord. Then he heard about our larger Saturn, the L Series, and got in touch with me to see how it stacked up. I was happy to pass along more details. Only trouble is you can't drive them, and a big part of appreciating this car is just driving it. Of course, I suspected Paul would assume I was biased. That's why I brought an Accord and Camry along, just in case he had any doubts.
I bequeath my Pizza Hut empire to Teddy.
We're gonna create the ultimate pizza. Let's see some cheese. I want 6 kinds of cheese. Give me the toppings department. More toppings. More toppings. Everybody say ultimate.
The new Ultimate Cheese Pizza, loaded with the topping of your choice. 6 kinds of cheese, 50% more of it, and an incredible price. $8.99 medium, large, just $2 more.
But sir, that price. You like your job, money man?
It's a good price, sir. Excellent price. The Ultimate Cheese Pizza from Pizza Hut. Another one of the best pizzas under one roof.
Is that what I think it is? But it's just a...
Try it.
Incredible. Wireless internet right here in my hand. Shop, trade stocks, check scores, all on Sprint PCS. And the calls?
Clear digital calls. Nothing else has changed.
Do you think they're ready?
Some are. Others will follow.
Experience the power of the Sprint PCS wireless web.
CBS sports coverage of the road to the Final Four is sponsored by the Saturn L Series Performance Sedan. Merrill Lynch. Be wired, be unwired, be bullish. And by Pizza Hut, home of the new Ultimate Cheese Pizza. Another one of the best pizzas under one roof.
Stanford leads it by a 54-53 score. And again, a reminder, the NCAA selection show live from the Hall of Champions in Indianapolis next Sunday, 6:30 Eastern Time. The first look at the brackets and the pairings for this year's NCAA tournament as we get set for the road to Indianapolis. Stanford would like to be the 1 seed in the West.
Jim, I guess the first time since '88 that the selection show comes from the site of the Final Four. Now that the home of the NCAA is in Indianapolis, and this year the final game will be in Indianapolis. You know, kind of an interesting story seeing McDonald there. His father, who was an outstanding both collegiate and professional player, took him to Indianapolis when Arizona won the national championship as a graduation present of high school and said, someday, maybe you get to play in a Final Four. Could you imagine what it would be like to go back and play in Indianapolis as a part of this Stanford team?
He did get to go to the San Antonio Final Four. Didn't get a lot of minutes as Madsen drives to the basket. Special place, though, for McDonald, where he got to taste the Final Four for the first time. UCLA, again, for those just joining us, 16-11 on the year. A win today would all but lock up a NCAA tournament berth for the Bruins, which really, as recently as 2 weeks ago, looked rather sketchy for their cause. But 2 games remaining in their schedule after today. Home games against Washington and Washington State. Both are struggling. And if the Bruins were to finish, say, 18-12, you have to think they're in based on their strength of schedule. In fact, strength of schedule, Billy, after the computer will take in the Stanford encounter today, will lift the Bruins
even higher
into the first or second position strength of schedule, fighting out with Kentucky. That should be something, again, enough to merit a berth in the field of 64.
And didn't we see during halftime that not Stanford, but Samford is the first team officially in the NCAA tournament?
Well, let's not forget Penn last
I think that's just for a tie. I think they have. It's just a tie. So I think Samford, and remember, who Samford beat the first game of the year? St. John's. Team that's on a great roll. Oh, boy, what a big call.
Takes away a tying basket.
Steve Lavin doing the best he can to say my man was pushed from underneath. But the acting job does not win. Ooh, Collins had it there. Goes inside.
On the floor, it's Capono.
And there's a case, Jim, where Collins, with more experience, will sense what the defense is giving him. Now, he wanted to go inside to Madsen, but the defense was giving him just the reverse dribble. He could have put one more dribble on it and been in a layup going down the right-hand side of the lane. Replaced now by his brother.
And it comes to McDonald.
Good movement without the ball by Jacobson. Just didn't get the pass.
10 on the shot clock. And a hold called on Billy Knight. UCLA doesn't trail that many teams when it comes to consecutive NCAA tournament appearances. Only Carolina, Arizona, and Indiana have a better streak going. Bruins hoping to extend it to 12.
North Carolina, a team, Jim, that has really struggled this year. They've played a very difficult schedule. The problem is they haven't beaten those teams that you talked about that have been in the tough contests like the Cincinnatis and the Michigan States. But they better do well in the ACC tournament this week. I think they've got to win a couple to assure themselves a bit.
Not definite.
No. Good screen by Capono. Jacobson really trying to stay with him. Skip pass.
Capono's 3 for the lead. Goes awry.
Well, UCLA got the shot they wanted, Jim. You can count on him. If you give him many of those kind of shots, he's going to bury them. It's a good skip pass by UCLA. And notice the pressure on the perimeter players. UCLA is kind of like going right back at Stanford, what Stanford likes to do to other people. They're not giving Mosley the open looks, or Mendez when he comes into the game.
Mendez, in fact, comes into the game. He'll inbound it, replacing Mosley.
Watson will give McDonald a little bit of room, but in regard to Mendez and Jacobson, they are right out on him. That's probably the reason that the big guys have gotten a little foul trouble, because they're not getting any help inside.
Collins gives it up to Masson for the dunk. Beautiful assist by Jason Collins.
And you can't fault Zurich because you had to go over and help a little bit. The only place help could have come from was outside, but there was too much distance there. Good spacing by Stanford.
And that teamwork has the sixth man hopping.
They'll give Zurich that shot.
He'll take it, and he gets it. Back to a two-point game.
And Jim, I said they'll give him that shot from 18 feet, but when he put the ball on the floor twice, Collins just stood there, let him have a 12-footer, which is his range.
13 minutes remaining. Been a good one here at Maples. Steele gets Zurich.
He's got speed.
Masson can't afford to challenge. Use 3 fouls.
The UCLA players say Zurich is the fastest runner on this team at 6'11". Boy, when healthy, he is a fine player. He's had nagging injuries throughout his career.
Too tightly guarded is Jacobson, so Ray Young whistled for it.
But that's all right. UCLA still keeping great perimeter defense. You can see Zurich going up. Considered out of Massachusetts as the best prospect from that state since Patrick Ewing. And he has been playing well of late. Did not have a starting assignment the other night, but played the best game of his career coming off and in part of that 40-point turnaround.
The sophomore, Warren and Holland, one more as Jacobson converts the front end.
Well, you take a look, there's Matson going out getting a little bit of a wipe up on that chin, but you know, in that first half, UCLA outscored Stanford 24-6 from the three-point range. Stanford kind of came back and outscored UCLA 15-3 from the foul line. UCLA not getting to the line at all. Owiso looking to hit the ball down inside. Wise judgment to come back out.
Right through the hands of Rico Hines for the turnover. This Monday, CBS presents a new comedy about the magic of falling in love. Don't miss an all-new episode of Grapevine, Monday on CBS right after the King of Queens.
Jim, next week is well, actually, it's already started around the country, tournament week. The Pac-10 and the Ivy League, the two leagues that do not have a postseason tournament. Last one that the Pac-10 had, Arizona won, but they have discontinued it. So what we see here is the regular season weekend next weekend with Washington State come to UCLA, just regular season play. They will not have, as the Big Ten and the SEC and the ACC and the Big East have.
We'll be in Chicago next week for the Big Ten tournament, loaded with NCAA tournament teams. Jacobson off the mark on the three. And last touch by Collins.
Great play by Watson to stay down low. Collins brought the ball down. Watson got a piece.
Back and forth we go. Number one leads by 1 with under 12 remaining.
There's a place in America where the sun shines a little brighter in the month of March, where the townfolk reminisce of peach baskets and parquet, where the fruits of hard labor are served up with a smile.
Freshly baked finger rolls.
And folks who visit are always invited to stay as long as they can. Welcome to Bracketville.
Jason Gedrick stars in Falcone, beginning April 4th on CBS.
Business powers Connecticut's economy. But who powers Connecticut's businesses? Connecticut Light and Power. We also deliver ideas that can make your business more efficient, like rebates, incentive programs, and energy audits. How do we know so much about Connecticut business? Because we've been one for almost a century. Part of the Northeast Utilities System, Connecticut Light and Power, the energy of Connecticut.
Now, there's a more convenient way to get hard-to-find information on every team in the tournament. Delivered right to you every day. With side-by-side matchups and late-breaking insights.
SportsSleuth.com, baby! Log on for the inside scoop, plus win tickets to lunch with Dickie V.
SportsSleuth.com. We uncover sports.
Don't get left behind. Join the computer revolution so your kids can keep up in school, to save money on internet bargains, or to play games and chat with friends and lovers. For only $59.95 a month, Redtown's experts will set up your computer with free internet and follow through with free service if you need help. Plus, you get it today. You can upgrade at any time, and you don't need credit. Join the computer revolution with free internet at any unbeatable Redtown near you, including Danbury.
Sale!
DVD players for just 99 cents a day at Redtown.
Watch Eyewitness News this morning from 5 to 8 for the most complete local news coverage.
On the farm in Palo Alto, California, where Stanford is being heavily challenged today by a late season surging UCLA team that fought back Thursday night, 19 down on the road to defeat Cal, another team that was battling kind of in a bubble position for the NCAA tournament with that crushing loss. The Bruins coming back with a 40-point turnaround. Madsen sitting. 3 fouls on Mad Dog. Getting a rest here. Under 12 minutes to go.
The Collins brothers manning the low inside position. Young was not ready to shoot the jumper there on that good pass by Moiso. Mendez had his head turned and never saw where his man was.
Moiso's pass batted away. 10 seconds on the shot clock. Bounces it inside. Gazurek. Turnaround, bounces out. Rebound by Jaron Collins. UCLA shooting over 50% from the field. No one has done that this season, not even close. In fact, the Bruins had the best, 45% in a loss earlier this year to Stanford.
And as I pointed out early in the show, in that game, they were 0 for 14 from 3. So it's really something to shoot 45% when you're 0 for 14 in one area of the game.
Tied up, and the arrow belongs to UCLA.
Well, that arrow came back from that technical foul occasion.
Gapono comes back in. Gapono out of the same high school that produced the O'Bannon brothers for UCLA, Artesia High School, and Coach Wayne Marino.
And that was the team that ended the season #1 and went right through the NCAA tournament.
1995 national titleist.
MOP O'Bannon. Moiso stuck, but gets a whistle. Wow, he should have put the shot up, because what are they going to call this? There's only 2 team fouls on Stanford. By not taking the shot and making the pass, he should not be going to the line. See, he could have gone to the line, Jim, by just releasing it as a shot.
Jaron Collins with his 3rd. It's only the 3rd team foul against Stanford. 8 this half against UCLA.
Now Collins is fronting Gazurek. I think they could swing the ball and get the ball in there. Oh, boy.
Basket. And a foul called. Are they going to...
Yes, it's a foul, and the basket should count. He really elevates as he leaves the floor here. Great scoop shot by Moiso. And he made up for the mistake of throwing that pass away. Takes it right down the lane against Collins. Jim, we ought to point out, too, for Stanford, Curtis Beauchart, who's an outstanding freshman, 6'11" shot blocker, is out with an injury, and that would just give Stanford even more presence inside, but he obviously will not be available today.
And it sounded like yesterday at practice, talking to his teammates, that they don't expect Beauchart to be back this season.
There was that reach. Gazurek, not a smart foul. He cannot afford to be on that bench any longer. But he's going to have to come out now. Rush going to go in for him. A lot of talk about this UCLA club having talent but playing soft. I'd have to say today that this team came to play with a lot of energy, a lot of heart, a lot of determination. And with the talent that they have, if they'll bring that to the court every day, they can be a factor.
One man with 4 fouls goes out. Another one comes in.
So this is going to be a chess match here now for Steve Lavin, Jim. Trying to get minutes out of guys in foul trouble and telling them to go out and play and not worry about the 5th.
Look out, Jacobson left open on the wing. Buiso snags it.
Well, you won't get many good looks like that for Jacobson that he doesn't bury.
Move under the 10-minute mark. Bruins winning on the road by 1.
I think Rush should put the ball on the floor.
Spin move, Young.
Nothing there.
He had no shot.
Buiso over the top again. How many of those kind of rebounds has he gotten today? I think they should get that ball to Rush. He's got Collins on him. He's quicker. See if he can't put the ball on the floor and go to the hoop right here.
Buiso with 8 rebounds overall. Gets it inside.
He's a lefty.
Puts it up and pulled down by Jaron Collins.
See, Jaron Collins is playing to his strength when he takes Rush down that low. Now Jason Collins down in low on him, just too strong.
Rush got hit in the mouth with an elbow, and Collins bangs it home.
He's just too strong down there. Now there's why that foul by Zurich really hurts UCLA.
That's the first field goal in a 4-minute stretch for Stanford to move back in front.
Rush has not had a lot of game experience, but he's got to realize now he's playing against a guy that's bigger and stronger, but not as quick. Cheap foul on Collins.
Jason Collins reaching around. Again, Billy, they've gone over 4 minutes without a field goal.
And see, Jim, look at all the size and power that Rush has given up. He's defenseless under there.
3rd foul on Jason Collins, 15 foul. Outside, yes, and that's a 3. He was right on. That looked like he might have been on the line.
That's 2 he's had today. Remember, Jim, the first one he made in the game was right on the line as well. See, he has an advantage on Collins, taking him outside like that. And the next time he ought to pump fake the jump shot and go by him with the dribble. On the other end of the floor, Collins ought to post him up, down, and low and just power it. It's a fine basketball game.
Mosley and the rebound Capona.
When you can take the #1 team in the nation, the team that has been just devastating to its opponents on defense, from blowing everybody out, you come in here on this floor with this crowd and play this well, you've got the makings of a club down the stretch here that looks awful good.
Watson so steady, a 3-year starter. In the rush, got position, wildly thrown up to the basket.
He's playing to the other team's strength now.
Mosley, quick step, and he's fouled outside. Billy Knight. Look at Jaron Rush in that question of a 2.
Here we go. We'll see. This is the second time today he has been very close. That's a 3, no question about it. He stepped back, and before he released, he was behind the line completely.
4 fouls now also on Billy Knight.
Now, what do you do if you're Steve Lavin? I think it's time to bring Zurich back and then go with the 2 big guys. The first one to foul out, obviously, then you get small, but he's going to try to steal a few more minutes.
Co-captain Mark Madsen returns to the lineup.
Now, Barnes comes back in, gives him a little bit more size. Barnes will go against Madsen. It was a nice move by Lavin because Rush isn't strong enough to stay with him.
Fellow co-captain Mosley knocks down 2. We're all tied at 62 at Maples. What a game.
I'm serious. Whenever guys find out I have a cat, they break.
You kidding me? I love cats.
Of course, my cat's not like other cats.
Well, sure he isn't.
He gets so jealous if anyone drinks my Bud Light. Oh, anyway, I'll go get changed.
You're right. Stupid cats.
For the great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down.
Oh, look at you, too.
Make it a Bud Light.
Please welcome today's guest, Drew Carey. Well, today I'm going to show everyone how to install DirecTV. Great. First, you take your drill, your wrench, your stud finder. This will come in handy, just in case. Fantastic. And chuck it out the window. Because now, not only do you get more movies and sports and stuff and digital quality picture and sound, but installation's free too. DirecTV, now with local channels. My work is done here.
My motto is, the customer is always right. The problem was...
Pack smokes?
Kids would try to buy cigarettes. You got an ID for those smokes?
Oh, come on.
It's illegal for me to sell them to anyone under 18. But since this We Card program started, there's no argument. I just point to the sign.
We're committed to keeping cigarettes out of kids' hands. That's why Philip Morris is a major sponsor of the We Card program.
I'm not alone when I say no, and that's a big help.
Working to make a difference. The people of Philip Morris.
Kilago, alone on Kilago, how empty it seems with only my dreams.
Introducing the 3.2 CL from Acura.
Look at the free throw advantage for Stanford today, Billy. 30 attempts.
It's amazing, isn't it, to think that you could be in a ball game with just 9 tries to the line. Of course, the reason for this is that UCLA has primarily been a perimeter shooting team and have done a great job with their three-point shooting. And in the case of Stanford, we know they're going to pound the ball down inside.
We got a couple of teams and a couple players on the UCLA team in foul trouble here. Knight with 4, got Zurich with 4, Rush has 4.
Well, I think the key here is game management by Steve Lavin. He is going to have to figure out a way with Zurich and Moiso to keep one at least on the floor at all times this last 7 minutes, and maybe potentially getting it so he can have both of them on the floor for the last 3 minutes. He's going to try to steal minutes with Barnes and with Rush.
Rush got caught.
Mendez with a great steal and effort.
Went to the floor for it. 3 at the other end. Just short. Manson battling. Blocked. In traffic. Out comes
the numbers.
UCLA 3-on-2. Watson to the right side. And the Bruins are back in front.
Sensational operation of the 3-on-2 break. Watson, who's made so many great judgments today, Jim, playing that point guard position.
Matt Barnes with the basket.
That time he just forced the 2 men to play and pick a lane, and he did the job of the delivery.
Mendez goes inside for 2.
Well, kind of like Jacobson, he goes inside because he's got such a great threat with his outside jumper.
Barnes to the corner. Capono.
Moiso another from behind.
And the basket. No, they call him on the end line. Wow.
Moiso is 6'10", but Jimmy's got the long arms, plays like a 7-footer.
CBS Sports Line stat of the game right now, 3-point field goals. The Bruins 50%.
30-12, but Stanford making it up on the foul line. Zurich back in the game, and here you go. A little chess match. 6:22 to go. Steve Lavin going to try to steal minutes here with his 2 big guys both in foul trouble.
Gets Zurich. Quick to steal. They're trying to get it inside to Manson.
Which is a good idea by Stanford. But you don't want to go ahead and get carried away with that, Jim. You get away from your offense just trying to foul a man out.
8 ties in this game after Stanford threatened to just blow this thing open in the opening minutes. Up 19-4. Capono posting up. Twist, turns.
Now, Capono spent too much time down in the low post. Once he passed it out and got it back, he should have gone ahead and just made the pass because he knew there was going to be some weak side help.
They have called that foul.
Is that it?
Gad Zurich.
What a cheap one. What a tough break there for UCLA. I said Steve Lavin was going to try to manage the time and the minutes. And Zurich goes in and just gets a touch foul, and he's out of there.
Gad Zurich, I didn't even realize that
he
was in line to get called for this.
Well, here's Matson blocking out. Zurich coming over the back, and he did come over the back for the foul. But boy, what a tough way for a guy who's played an outstanding game to sit down.
He will be replaced by Matt Barnes. Haven't taken the full time allowed for replacing a fouled out player.
Well, you can't fault a coach that had a strategy as to how he was going to substitute down the stretch. Steve Lavin did a good job, but there was the touch foul that put Zurich out of there.
One thing about this experience today for Stanford, they've been only in 4 games this year where the final margin was less than 10 points. Overtime wins against Duke and Georgia Tech, Auburn, victory, and the loss to Arizona. And you know you're going to make that run through the field in the NCAA tournament. One of those games is going to be quick. It's going to be tighter than you might expect.
Well, we've had a couple of teams like Michigan State in '79 that just blew everybody out of there. But, Jim, as you know, just about all of the champions, as you say, have one or more games in which it comes right down to the wire and they happen to hit the big shot.
Face that test of wills. See which team can prevail in the NCAA tournament. A one and done. Luiso, jumper short. All Stanford underneath. Madsen clears.
Well, you wouldn't have to tell anybody other than a UCLA club what it's like to make one at the break, huh? The Missouri game. Tyus Edmonds.
Inside. And the Bruins have committed another one. Triple header Sunday on CBS coming your way tomorrow. Led off by St. John's in Miami. Split coverage on the Missouri-Kansas, Auburn-Arkansas sequence in the late window. Indiana. How about A.J. Guyton this year?
Well, he's been tremendous. And, Jim, those two in the middle there, Missouri-Kansas, 2 teams that are going to be waiting for selection Sunday. And, of course, the Auburn situation with Chris Porter that, developed last week when we had that game. What will be the outcome? If they get him back and everybody's healthy, Auburn is a real challenging team. If they don't, and they continue to have the injury problems, Auburn goes from a team that was ranked #1 in the nation when everything started this year on the SI cover. Stanford was back at like number 29. Good steal.
Missed both free throws, but get it back. McDonald hits the 3. What a huge moment. Madsen missed both free throws, but Mosley chased it down. McDonald was open, and the lead is 4.
Just one of those things about bounces there, you know what? Stanford, with their experience, took advantage of it.
The littlest thing. Barnes. Not this time. Capono battling.
Oh, Mosley gets called for one. Good job. Capono's got a little bit too much size.
Looked like he might have been over the back, Capono, but Mosley called for it.
I think Mosley was surprised Capono was over there, and with his size, just played on top of him.
Third on Mosley.
Capono only shooting 66%. I think before his career's out, we'll see this guy up in the high 80s because he's got a great release on his shot. Excellent court presence.
Shooting 2. This springy floor at Maples. Doing some heavy bouncing right now.
You think it lifted him up a little bit there, Jim? Are you
just throwing him off a little bit? Made you spill your coffee. Got 1 of 2.
Well, he's got the release to be a 85% free throw shooter. It'll pick up full court pressure here. Jacobson going to be the man handling it.
Gets it to the middleman, Mosley. They break the pressure.
Good job by Stanford, a team that some people question, can they be pressed?
Mosley lost it for a moment, got it back, bounces it inside. Madsen underneath. Yes!
Great hands by Madsen. The 24-year-old senior playing his last game here. No call on that. He either was fouled or he walked. No call made on either.
5-point lead plus possession.
Key basket here now for Stanford. They can kind of seal this thing up.
Could be a 3. Back to the rim. Watson runs it down. Up ahead. Over the back.
Second time today, Watson delivered from half court. I don't think that Stanford realized Moiso was already down court. Remember, the last one was to Rush.
Let's give Earl Watson a lot of credit. He is a cagey man at the point for the Bruins.
Part of that Kansas connection here for UCLA. Lucius Allen, Rush, and Watson.
And a quick turnover committed by the Cardinals.
Right back in it comes UCLA.
3:11 remaining in the game. It'll be UCLA ball when we come back. This got him within 3. Moiso with style. And the Bruins putting up some kind of fight today on the road, challenging number 1 to the wire.
Welcome aboard Flight 211 to Cleveland with continuing service to Helsinki, on our way to Cairo, across to Beijing, looping around Kuala Lumpur, and back to Cleveland. Our estimated flying time is 2 weeks, 7 hours, and 12 minutes.
Can't do it in life? Do it on the web with the power of the Pentium 3 processor. And find out about a unique service for Pentium 3 processor owners at Intel.com.
Introducing the biggest, boldest player in the Colonel's sandwich lineup.
My spicy triple crunch zinger.
Not 1, not 2, but 3 big strips of white meat chicken, plus the Colonel's spicy zinger sauce. Try one today for just $1.99.
Booyah!